Hey, this is Logan, checking in again and making another video for our YouTube channel, and today I wanted to cover occupational therapy and mental health. So now that you all know a little bit more about occupational therapy, I would like to briefly describe OT's role in mental health, discuss a popular frame of reference used in mental health, and complete an activity. So whether you have a specific mental health condition or not, it is critical that you take good care of yourself during this period of time, as it is anxiety provoking for many individuals. Occupational therapists in mental health work to increase independence and successful engagement of occupations by establishing appropriate routines, educating individuals on medication management and other community opportunities, providing individuals with coping strategies to reduce symptoms of mental health, and identify and address unique challenges faced by individuals with mental health. So those are just some of the things briefly that occupational therapists can do, but as you know from the video yesterday, there are so many other things that we can work on with individuals who have mental health problems. So a frame of reference, I kind of mentioned that earlier, that's sort of like a track that guides occupational therapists from start to end with a patient. So you keep this frame of reference in mind as you work through and evaluate, as you come up with intervention ideas, and as you discharge the patient. So the frame of reference that we're going to be talking about today, because it relates pretty well with mental health, is called the Kawa Model. So this model is a way of looking at an individual's current life situation, then having the individual kind of compare their current situation to where they want to be. And this is done sort of through making a craft. You create a river, and each element of the river represents different life situations or barriers, stuff like that go into the river, and you can kind of take a look and see how well your river is flowing. So briefly here, I'm going to describe some of the elements, and then I'll make the call with you as an activity that we can do together, and I'll go into a little bit more detail then. But in your river, you have the rocks, and these are difficulties in life or barriers that sort of block the water flow. So the river obviously has walls, and these are your social or physical environments. You have driftwood. Driftwood are your personality or personal resources that you have. Your driftwood can actually hit rocks and knock rocks out of the way to free up your life flow, which is the water flow. And the space in between, like I've kind of said a couple times, that's your life flow. And the space in between for your river, that really contributes to your happiness, your well-being, and it creates opportunities to engage in other meaningful occupations. So without further ado, we're going to get into making a kawa. You can use construction paper, glue, you need a pen, you can use colored pencils, crayons, blank sheet of paper, and markers. This is really a craft that would be very easy to do in a time like this quarantine. Okay, so the first thing I did here making my kawa was cut out my riverbanks and my riverbed. So I have my social and physical environments here like I've already covered. So for my social environments, I have my fiance, my family, and my friends. All of these folks have just been very supportive through everything that's been going on. So they're very important to my social environment, and they really help my river flow. So I have my small house. So we live in a 750 square foot rental house currently, my fiance and I do. And it's been fine up until this point, but now that she's working at home and I'm working at home and we really can't leave the house, we're really feeling the size and how small it is. We're almost on top of each other all the time, and when she's in meetings, I can hear her while I'm trying to do some work, so it's really just been kind of stressful. I put moving because our environment is changing. We're actually moving this weekend, and I put an exclamation point because it's exciting. But I also put a question mark because I have no idea how any of it's going to go, especially considering everything that's going on with the stay-at-home warning, quarantine, and everything. So some negative things that are in my environment that are impacting my river flow here is the flooding. So even though we can't really go outside, or we're not supposed to really be out driving anywhere, we've had a lot of flooding here around my hometown recently, and that's really restricted some of the roads you can go on, and it's affected travel quite a bit in the area, and the stay-at-home ordinance. So not being able to go out into the community and do some of the things that I love doing out here on the lake has really impacted my way of life, and it's definitely affecting my life flow. So the next element that I'm putting here into my river are the rocks. And as I kind of talked about before, the rocks are current life difficulties, fears, concerns, which block and slow down the water flow in your river. So as you can see, I have stress. It's just been a very stressful time, not really knowing what's going to happen next, having things change up at school, and really this is a stressful time for everybody, but I feel like I have a lot of stress and I've kind of always had this problem. Fitness, being inside, not being able to go to the gym, I've been starting to worry a little bit about staying in shape and continuing to be healthy. And money. So this is also something that I'm kind of worried about since I'm in around rotation. I'm not really making any money at all, and I haven't been for a while since I'm in my clinical rotation and my internship. And it's going to be a lot harder to find a part-time job or something like that now with all of the businesses having to shut down. So the next element that's going into my river is the driftwood. These are values, personality traits, personal resources, and these can help you or they can hurt you and dam up your river a little bit more. So I have being determined. I feel like this is a personality trait that I have that really helps me out quite a bit. I have my education. I will talk about that a little bit more later, but as of right now, it's something that I feel will help me in the future, but it could be delayed with everything that's going on and all the changes that are happening. I'm very analytic, which I think contributes to my stress, but it also helps me out quite a bit. And I feel that I have a very good sense of humor, and I'm often able to look at things in a light way. So here's the final step in the finished product of my Kawa. I have everything that I've cut out and made glued down on my paper. So I have my riverbanks and my river edges, my rocks, my driftwood, and in the back I have my life flow. So something that I forgot to note before, you want to adapt and change the sizes of your rocks, your riverbank, and your driftwood depending on how big of an issue or how big of a help you think those things are. So for example, stress is a lot bigger as a rock than my physical fitness is. So once you get to this point, you can take a look here at your Kawa and you can look at what you have and how it's really affecting your life flow. So as an occupational therapist, I would look at this and I would see that my stress and worried about being physically fit are pretty big issues right now that are impeding my life flow and my river flow. So I would look at those two and I would think of a way I could probably address both at once. And one that I could think of is maybe getting outside, jogging a little bit more, or trying to do some exercises inside. That will definitely lower the size of my fitness rock, and everybody knows that getting some exercise and getting outside would reduce some stress. So that would be a way I'd be able to maybe address that issue that I have there. Another one that I've noticed here is education and money. So right now, with everything going on, I don't know how long it's going to take for my education, but since I am getting a very good education at the University of Findlay, once I finish and graduate and pass my board exam, I'll be able to land a good job, which will reduce money being a problem for myself. So now that you have more insight to OT and mental health and the Kawa model, I would suggest giving it a try. You can use construction paper, glue, scissors, or even just drawing on a piece of paper and use some crowns. This is a really good activity for all ages, and it really helps put things into perspective and provide insight into your mental and physical health. You'll be able to take the Kawa, you'll be able to look at it, and you'll be able to really put your current situation into a visual representation and really have some time to think about what you could do to maybe change some of these things and what you want your river to look like in the future. So, if you want to give this a try, which I would highly suggest, and you're having trouble kind of getting started, I will put some guiding questions down in the video description so you can look through those, and those will really help you think more about, what you might want to put for your rocks, driftwood, or riverbed. So I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.